Is there anything else on the horizon from Clay Games right now? From Clay Entertainment?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So the eats thing is totally happening. And again, I'm super excited about it. It's kind of my baby. It's what I started the company with like 7 years ago. And so the fact that we're redoing it is just, it's great. With real artists this time, as opposed to like me and other programmers. It's great. And we're working on something else as well, also for console. So we'll see.
Will there be a Shank 3?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Return of the Shank?
Return of the Shank, I know.
The Wrath of Shank?
Say that it's not planned right now. We're pretty, we want to do something different.
So you've got your hands full with the Shank 2 release right now, is what you're saying.
Oh my God, yeah, we do. Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys have a great release and get a lot of good feedback from fans on this one. Now,
Thank you.
Now, as this is Classic Game Room, I always like to wrap up every interview with some of the games or game consoles that inspired you from back in the day. What did you grow up with? What are some of your favorite games?
I started with the Famicom. I grew up in Hong Kong, so I grew up with the Famicom, and then I got the PC Engine.
Oh, the PC Engine.
Yeah. It was awesome.
That's the TurboGrafx 16 over here, right? That's
correct.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fun. I had a lot of games in the PC Engine, and some of the best games came out there. Bomberman came out there. Motor Rotor came out there. R-Type came out there. Alien Pinball. So on and so forth. It was actually a really awesome system, and I don't think that it really took off in North America, but it totally did in Asia. So
yeah, the TurboGrafx 16 wasn't the real leader back in the day, but there are some good games for it.
Really good. And then if you got the CDI, the CDI, I think it was, I don't know, the thing that you attach to the TurboGrafx or the PC Engine, you can play Street Fighter 1. Awesome.
People forget about that game, the original Street Fighter.
I know. It's like, what do you mean there was a 1? But yeah, it was awesome. And in terms of my favorite games, and then there was Super Nintendo and so on and so forth. But some of my favorite games, I don't know, there's just so many, right? Adventure games. I grew up with adventure games on the PC, and I always list Gabriel Knight as one of my favorite games.
Which one was that?
Gabriel Knight.
Gabriel Knight.
You've never played Gabriel Knight?
I have not. I don't know as much about the PC games. I tended to be more console.
Yeah.
Like my PC games of choice were like Space Quest.
Oh, you know what? On the Super Nintendo, there was a game called Gundam SC Super Gachapon. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like Gundam X. It's like it plays like Front Mission, Advanced Wars, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Plays like that, except it was on a much bigger, massive scale. Like literally, you could conquer planets, and then you can go into the planet, and then it's a whole new world again, and then you can conquer more stuff in there, and then you can go back into space. And it was multiplayer. It was like head to head. And then when you attacked people, it would actually go into another game mode where you're playing side-scrolling shooting with each other.
That sounds wild.
It was super wild.
Now, Jamie, you guys are based out of Vancouver, Canada, so our Canadian fans will be very pleased to hear about the Canadian video game industry. Why did you decide to set up shop in Vancouver?
I was born here.
Oh, okay.
I actually grew up in Hong Kong, but I moved back here because I love Canada and I love Vancouver. And so that was basically the natural fit. I guess the only thing missing is that, Shank doesn't apologize to everybody after he kills them.
Is Shank a Canucks fan?
Shank has no idea what a Canuck is.
Are you a Canucks fan?
Barely. Only because, again, I grew up in Hong Kong and it was like, ice? What is this ice? I don't know what you're talking about.
Is there a growing Canadian video games industry?
Oh, it's been here forever. EA was set up in Vancouver.
Okay.
Really started in Vancouver, and so it's really kind of grown from that. And Vancouver is a pretty big hub for video games, and now more and more so for independent video games. So it's pretty sweet.
All right. Awesome. Well, I hear it's a beautiful city. I've never been there, but when I do, I will. I'll hopefully, be knocking on your door and asking you guys to release Shank 3 for ColecoVision again.
That's right.
Or the Atari Lynx. We could also go with the Lynx.
awesome.
So
That is awesome.
Portable Shank, Shank on the go. This way you play Shank 2 while you're actually shanking people with your links.
It reminds me of the old Motorola cell phones, and that's awesome.
Oh, the big antenna hanging out the back.
Yeah, the big antenna, and then if you're a Hong Kong mafia guy, you use that and then you hit someone with it in the back of the head.
Yeah, the links would be good for that. You got 6 AA batteries in this thing for some real force. Maybe this could be a weapon in the next Shank video game.
Right.
The Atari Lynx. Well, last question: was there an inspiration in the back of your mind for Shank or for Shank 2? Is there something that you played back in the day that you're like, oh, if this game would have just been, if I would have made this game, it would be like this?
It was like, for us, it was like, hey, you know what? Desperado plus Devil May Cry plus Double Dragon.
Double Dragon. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Well, you know what to do. Go find Shank 2, Steam, PS3, Xbox 360. He named the consoles. I'm still a bit disappointed ColecoVision wasn't one of them, but you know, maybe I'll try to convince you guys next time for Shank 3. There's always hope. So it was very nice speaking to you. Thank you very much, and best of luck with Shank 2.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
We can all hope for Shank 3 on the ColecoVision, The Wrath of Shank. That's a good title, isn't it? Kind of like Wrath, like the Search for Spock. That wasn't a very good one though. The Search for Shank. I like that. That's a good. We can work on this one. All right. Thank you very much.